All right, welcome to the Mashpee Police Department. This building was constructed in 1978, where the town had a population size of about 2,000 people, and there was several offices. Currently, today, we have 39 fully sworn police officers, and we answer, on average, 35 to 40,000 calls for service a year. Obviously, in the summer months, the population, the year-round population is about 15 to 16,000. Summertime population is about 37,000. So this town gets extremely busy over the years. The department size has gotten bigger as to adapt to the community growing, and the calls for service have, since I started in 2001, have doubled since I've been here. I'll now, we'll go into the station. I'll show you a lot of the issues we have as far as layout and design of the place and the problems that we're having continuously, and they seem, recently they're getting worse. Okay, this area right here is the front lobby. If somebody came in, they'd go to the dispatch window. Dispatch is directly behind us. And you have a couple bathrooms here, male and female. If somebody wanted to come in here and get a copy of a report, the records office is straight down there. It says records, and then the door to the right, that'll lead you into the main part of the facility. All right, we'll start in the basement area. That's where evidence and our armory is, and the locker rooms, and the source of many of our issues. All right, so this area has become like the storage for the air conditioners that we have to put in the windows during the summer months because we have no AC in the building because the whole HVAC system failed. So these are the AC units that got put in the windows during the summer months. This is the evidence room. As you can see, exposed pipes. We have issues, summertime, pipe sweating and whatnot, and you'll see in these two rooms over here, this room right here, right where the door is where he's standing, that is all money, drugs, and guns are stored there, and everything else is basically in this other room. Now, if you come in here, portable radios hardly work down here, so they got to call up to dispatch. If they're coming downstairs, there's no radio reception down here. So, as you see, we're storing evidence in here, and these pipes leak periodically. Major ventilation issues down here. Obviously, we got a dehumidifier running, but in the summer months, things get pretty bad down here, and we got, you know, major crime evidence being stored down here. Ooh, excuse me. I was told before my time this was a firing range down here somewhere. This room.
You want it open?
Yeah, do you mind opening this up? We kind of made this room. Just because we're outgrowing the place, we're running out of room, so they kind of boxed this room off too, because the evidence needs to be separated. So this room was created to hold all other evidence that isn't money, drugs, or guns. Right? So if an officer investigates a crime on the street, when he first gets the evidence, he comes in here before it's taken over there, and this is where the evidence is processed. And as you can see, this was an old maintenance room that the evidence is processed before it goes in there. The fridge right there, rape kits could be stored in here briefly until the evidence officer puts them in a more secure location. But as you can see, this room wasn't designed for an evidence intake.
Does it always smell like this down here?
Yes.
Actually, it smells worse today.
We train down here sometimes, that's why you see this. There's no real training room here. It's a taser, for taser training. We either go in here or in the garage, Sallyport. If you go down here, the fire department was here last week. carbon monoxide was being released. The levels were high. There was a problem with the boiler. They ended up putting there was no carbon monoxide detector down here, so they installed that little white carbon monoxide detector. There was a blower motor engine or something was gone with the boiler.
I'm sure there's more energy efficient boilers nowadays.
You think?
Yeah.
Record storage, again, probably shouldn't be down here, but lack of space. This is the armory. We have a continuous problem every year of guns rusting up. So they have to wipe all the guns down with oil because there's no ventilation down here whatsoever. So the armorers are down here quite often, especially in the summer months, wiping all the department guns down. And again, this is downstairs. It probably should be up on the first floor. This office right here to the right used to be the animal control office. However, with no radio reception or anything like that, so we had to kind of move them to the other side of the building, and now it's just kind of like a storage. You can still see the 70s and 80s paneling. This was an office way back in the day, but it's become storage as well. Major issues with water getting in here when it rains. As you can see, mold and stuff has been on this wall. Excuse me.
Keep these pipes in the ceiling.
All right, so we'll move along to the other side. We'll show you the locker rooms for male and female officers, cardio room and a weight room, and the animal control officer is on this side of the building over here. Mice down here, usually during the night hours, rats. So definitely rodents. There was a dead mouse in the evidence room floor a month ago. It's just a little maintenance room, but you can see mold on the pink paneling. See all the spots over there. So these are the locker rooms. Female locker room right here. You can see this funky little stairway. But I want to show you, they've put some pipe there to drain water down there in the middle of the bathroom. We had a major sewer break the end of last July over the 4th of July. This whole area was flooded with raw sewage. I'll show you the pipe that they replaced. Where this flooring's different, they had to cut up the concrete and put in a whole new pipe right here. It flooded all in here, through here. These locker rooms were all covered. Probably about 7-8 inches in raw sewage.
It smells terrible.
Yeah, it smells terrible in here. There's always a constant, this sewer smell. When it rains heavy, you get a stench of sewer. That drain right there, I think there's another drain around here somewhere, but a couple years prior to this recent one, this whole floor was flooded, so the DPW put these lockers on 2x4s to get them up a little bit, because all the officers, all the stuff in the bottom of the lockers were all destroyed. They went around the whole room and punched holes to kind of keep the, I think, drywall from getting ruined. Okay. Another issue down here is lack of size for the department. We don't have enough lockers. This is, like I said, this is the male locker room. These are old surplus lockers from Otis Air Force Base. Yeah. No ventilation in here whatsoever. In the summer months, it's it's like a sauna in here.
Was windows don't open?
No. All right. All right. This is a little cardio room. This is a room where a lot of the mold was seen over here. As you can see, they repainted this whole windowsill up here. Major water damage during heavy rains. And there was all black mold on this wall. Yeah, you know, things are rusting up. There's no ventilation down here whatsoever.
Did you get the rust?
The animal control, as I said, we moved him from that side to here. Unfortunately, we couldn't move him upstairs. There's no room. So he works out of this office. This is his office. Also gets water damage during heavy rains. We'll now come up into the patrol section of the station. It's just some storage for stuff for the vehicles right there. So right here, this is the school resource officer's office. This was once a storage closet that's been turned into an office space. So she gets all her stuff kind of crammed in here. This was, like I said, this was once just a storage closet when I first started here. Excuse me. This is the report room. You got 30 officers work.
School resource?
Yes. Yeah, that's old. That was a court officer and then a school resource officer the last several years. This is where all the officers do their reports. They each get one file cabinet and a mailbox. All the reports, everything gets done out of this space. Poor layout and design. It should be separated. You could have people in here rummaging through their file cabinets while these guys are doing reports, kind of like I'm doing right now to him. Sergeant's office. We have 7 sergeants, 6 work on the road. As you can see, no room. They get one desk and they're stacking whatever. They all got collateral duties. He does firearms. The sergeant back there does taser and defensive tactics, use of force stuff. So they have to store all this stuff here because there's really no other workspace for them. The senior sergeant works out of here because we didn't have enough room for all the desks. So the operations lieutenant used to be downstairs. We had to move him upstairs to make room because there was too many sergeants in that space. So as you can see, look at the filters for these heaters. Couple bathrooms. This is roll call. This is if we have a department special event, award ceremony or something. That's why all the chairs are stacked in the back. Really not enough room for that, but this is where a pipe blew over there and this whole floor was flooded to include out here in the kitchen area, vending machines, and they ended up, there's tile under this carpet a couple years ago just because the tile was, it's awful looking. They just figured to cover it up with some cheap carpet, putting lipstick on a pig, basically. So we're going to go from this side to detectives, and to do that, you have to walk through the cell block. There's no hallway. You go through the cell block. So when there's prisoners, officers, just to walk from one side of the building to the other, you got to take a gun out, put it in the lockbox to be able to walk to the other side of the station. Because dispatch here, nobody can go in there because they're dealing with 911 calls and whatnot. This is a shared space. Oh. Shared space with the IT and dispatch supervisor. This desk there, lack of no space. So these are our cells. We fail a state cell inspection every year for numerous violations. And as you can see, it's literally right off of dispatch, which is a bad idea to say the least. When people are back here, drunks or whoever, they're screaming. You can actually, these guys can be taking phone calls and you can hear people screaming in the background. This should be separated, like on the total opposite side, but that's the design. I'll pop in here real quick. Actually, you can see dispatch. There's usually two working there, but their space is cramped. Now this is the hallway I was talking about. The main access from detectives to patrol is right here. Again, some of the violations, we can't separate females or juveniles. They're supposed to be separate sound and sight. That's not possible in here. This cell's out of order.
Say several are out of order. They don't walk.
Yeah. We have issues where the plumbing's faulty. They flush a toilet here and it goes into the cell next door. Security issues. We bring an arrest in here. Priority number one, before you even get the person out of the car, you got to make sure these doors are shut, because someone could literally, which has happened, try to run right out the side of the building. This area is not secure until we shut those doors. Terrible flow in here as well. Usually you want to bring, especially someone that's combative, you want to put them in an area where they can't harm anybody. It's not secure. They come in here, the fight's on. It's just a terrible design for a booking room, and it's just too old and antiquated. One interview room / bail commissioner room is right here. That's where the sergeant would book the person. This is turned into storage here. We got a restraint chair in here, and this is where they do the fingerprints, but it's just a terrible layout. Is that?
Yeah, it's a bit.
Sallyport, where we come in with a prisoner. You can't bring an ambulance in here, so if rescue's called for someone that's been held in our custody, they got to go to the front door, and we got to literally walk them in through the front lobby. Same way.
You come in here, it's too low?
Yeah, it's too low. And this is just a maintenance garage, which really, he's got to pull all this stuff out of here when he's working on cars. We got sheds stuffed with bikes and stuff. There's just no room to put this stuff. This is also in here when it's warmer. Certain trainings, taser and stuff, they'll do it right out here in the Sallyport area.
Somewhat dry.
Yeah. So now we'll come into detectives. Like I said, functionality, poor design, layout, right off the booking room. So each detective, the heating and air conditioning here is horrible. It's one of the worst spots in the building as far as ventilation. Detective Donis. Detective Pastilli, Detective Sergeant Cook. So this is where they do high priority interviews. In this room that used to be just a conference room is now an interrogation and interview room. None of the visual, audio visual works, so we have to use tripods with body cams. No. We have to use a body camera. We put it on the tripod. That's how these guys are doing major interviews and interrogations. This is not designed to be an interview room, as you can see. That's a little kitchenette that they have. And then you right out the side door here. Side of the building. That's pretty much our place in a nutshell. I do want to show you some spots outside that the birds make nests every single year they come. So like, see up See up there above that window on the left? That one's been putty. When they initially do it, it's this yellow putty. Then they come back and they'll make it look a little better. But you think this is concrete. It's hollow as, so you think this is concrete, but it's not. Like, the place looks good from the outside, but it's deceiving. That's not what you think. And it's all the corners, as you can see right here. And this is every single year. And it's the corners of the building. That's it. That's our tour. The back there is where we keep extra bikes and just because of the lack of storage, we have sheds. We got 2 there and there's another shed over there.
Does this work? Nope.
No, that's the HVAC system that failed. That's what's left of it. That's what kind of got things going. It was going to be $3 million to replace on top of the cell block and all the other issues we have. Got the needs assessment study going, and then this thing just took on a life of its own. There's no HVAC, it's just all these units here.
They don't work.
They don't work.